It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
Hail to the victors valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and best. Hail to the victors valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail to Michigan, the champions
of it all.
Of it all, baby. Let's go.
Baby. We told you.
We've been telling you for months. I told you. He told you.
We told you, man.
Maz didn't.
We told you. You know what? It's neither here nor there. You guys are just lucky. You guys are just lucky that we are now affiliated with Fox 2. Because if we weren't, oh boy, this would be a different show today. This would be a different show.
Ermanni and Edwards with Maz.
I'm keeping this PG-13 as I can.
WoodwardSports.com, Woodward Sports Network. You can also watch us Fox2Detroit.com, Fox 2 app. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
Fulfillment, satisfaction, validation, all those words that relate to what we felt about our alma mater, how the alma mater felt about itself, what they felt they could do in this game. And I'm just so satisfied because everything that I said and argued for the last 13 weeks in terms of what Michigan was, what Michigan could do, what Ohio State hadn't shown, what Ohio State hadn't proved, and just this game, etc., it unfolded perfectly. I couldn't have scripted if unfolding like that.
That's a great word for it, too, is satisfying. It's just so satisfying. Tom Mazawey, good afternoon to you, big guy.
What up, fellas? Congratulations. You guys nailed it. I was in doubt. I didn't think they could do it. They did it. I hope they can go all the way.
Maz, you're not the only one, so don't feel bad at all. When I say this, the people that had questions, I don't have a problem with those people. The people that have questions like Maz that say, hey, you know what? Haven't seen the passing game. I haven't really seen it take off, so I don't know if Michigan can win that game. I don't have a problem with those people because it's very true. Michigan's passing game led by J.J. McCarthy, it was subpar all year in terms of down-the-field passing. So that's fair. But those people that had those same concerns but talking about Michigan's schedule, like we're always excuse with Michigan, like, well, Michigan's schedule sucks. Well, Ohio State's schedule sucked too, but you didn't say that about Ohio State. Well, Michigan struggled against Maryland. Well, Ohio State struggled against Maryland. Well, Ohio State struggled against Penn State. Well, Ohio State struggled against Northwestern. And when they struggled against Penn State, they're bored. That was the excuse. Yeah. When they struggled against Northwestern, it was the conditions and the wind and the rain. The other Big Ten games for them, it's always an excuse for Ohio State because you guys are just so used to them being dominant, them being that team on offense and defense. When I told you there were no defensive players that you were scared of, there were no more Chase Youngs. There are no more Nick and Joe Bosa's. There are no more Denzel Wards. There are no more Jeff Okudas. There are no more Eli Apples and Lattimore's. None of these great players, A.J. Hawks and Bobby Carpenter, may have went a little further back on that one, but they hadn't had those guys. Shazier, there you go, there's one. Hadn't had those guys. You can't name a guy outside of Eichenberg on that Ohio State team that you fear, that you're scared of. They didn't have those world beaters. And oh, by the way, Ryan Day. Name me the big game that Ryan Day has ever won. Did he beat Oregon last year at the beginning of the season? Did he beat Michigan last year? Did he beat Michigan this year? He can't win a big game. He's born on third, and now he's going backwards. And you know what? Too bad Luke Fickell took that deal with Wisconsin, because I know Ohio State's fans are wishing he was in the shoe.
They want Urban.
Yeah, definitely something we're going to get into. When you look at these Michigan wins now, last year and this year, almost look at them like children, right? I mean, which one is your favorite win? I mean, there was something special to last year in Jim Harbaugh getting that win, but there was always that question mark. Yeah, okay. You did it with 3 first-round picks on the defensive side of the ball. C.J. Stroud had the flu that week. You were at home. Yep. There was excuse after excuse. This year, there are no more excuses. This rivalry has totally flipped. Jim Harbaugh is Ryan Day's daddy, and the series is now owned by Michigan.
Definitely is the father of that relationship. But you look at it last year, Ryan Ermanni. Last year we got a chance. We get our first win against Ohio State in over 10 years. First win. But we didn't go ham celebrate. Like in terms of the social media posts, in terms of on the show, in terms of, because everybody was next win, you know, it was a good battle. And also you say, you know what, I don't want to start just celebrating and doing all that yet. You want to see you want to see it happen a couple times in a row. You want to make sure it happens again so you know that it's real. Well, this time, yeah, I was going a little wild on social media, and I'm talking stuff to everybody that wants it. I think Michigan in 2 years, Ryan, we were talking about this, they switched the pendulum of the last 15.
And you know, I think last year you kind of felt like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you felt like there was some sort of toughness thing that happened. Michigan had all the toughness. You beat them up, 5 rushing touchdowns on the ground. You physically manhandled them at the line, so you felt the rivalry was turning at that point. And then all the craziness of the offseason with Jim Harbaugh and flirting with the NFL or whatever you want to call it, losing Josh Gaddis. You're losing all of these great stud players, you know, Aiden Hutchinson, Dax Hill, David Ojabo. You're losing these guys to the pros. You know, what is it really going to be like this year? You've got 2 new coordinators. You can't name anybody really on defense. Offensively, this year, both the tight ends were out. Blake Corum was out. The wide receivers really weren't getting it done all season long. I mean, you got to give Jim Harbaugh a lot of credit, and this is his day. This is his time. This is his program, and that's a program-defining win.
Yeah, this is arguably the best win in Michigan history as it relates to this rivalry, as it relates to a regular season win. I mean, it is. Frankie put it is. I mean, if you look at where the state of college football is right now with the NIL deal, you look at how hard it is to win, you know, to get to the playoffs. If you look how hard it is to win a rivalry game, especially with the talent level. I mean, the 3 schools that have the most 5 stars are Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State. Like, they're the 3 schools. Michigan's not even close than that. So for Michigan to lose their best defensive player, Mike Morris, and then their essentially best offensive player, Blake Corum, and still dominate like that. This is 2 years in a row, Ryan Ermanni, that Michigan has made Ohio State submit. Like, those players gave up, and you can see when it happened this year, and you can also see when it happened this year. I feel bad for Ohio State. Psych. It was ugly.
Hey, man, I'll tell you, in the second quarter, I really thought Ohio State would start to pull away. I was nervous watching that game from the get-go. I'm so proud of the way Jim Harbaugh has coached this year. And I said to you guys earlier this year, he's reborn. This is the guy we wanted 7 years ago, 8 years ago, whenever we hired him. This is the guy. He is coaching at his peak right now. Yeah, he got a team to the Super Bowl, and now he's got his college team on the precipice of great things. Not only that, he steals 2 Ohio State recruits on the same damn day that he whips the Buckeyes' rear ends that day. He does it without his best running back. They suited him up, but he just knew he wasn't going to play. Donovan Edwards got a cast on his hand. He can't catch the ball. It's not going to be good. Well, they should have put 2 casts on his feet because he took care of business after that. John Harbaugh in Baltimore, his older brother, Jim's older brother, said, "Congratulations, Jim. You have coached your greatest year ever." That's a hell of a compliment. Hell of a compliment.
What they say a lot of times in life is, in order to have true success, in order to get to where you ultimately want to be, you got to fail. Like, sometimes you can't know exactly who you are and how great you can be until you, I don't want to necessarily use the word rock bottom, but when you plateau out and now you have to redefine yourself. Jim Harbaugh, you look at 4 years ago, just look at Jim in the last 4 years, and this is all about Jim right now. You look at a blowout to Ohio State, you look out to another blowout to Ohio State, then you look at which could have been another blowout. Obviously, Ryan Day made those comments that would spark Jim Harbaugh and piss him off. Could have been another blowout in the COVID year. To now, you bring in some younger coaches. You open your doors a little bit more to the players. You are listening to what the players have to say and their input a little bit more, having a little bit more fun up there, bringing in some younger guys, some different guys. You don't have to be the smartest guy in the room all the way, and it has to be the Jim Harbaugh way. It's just had to be the Michigan way. Now he is coaching his best football, like Matt said, like his brother said, Coach John Harbaugh. He's having fun. Look at the elation and the jubilation on his face at the end of games and press conference. Look at how he's just stop
right there. We'll show you that. We'll show you that jubilation. Look at how happy he was and how he really brings the guys together. I mean, they love him. His players love him.
He restructured his contract. Like, all that happened.
Yep.
Like the rest of the team was. I mean, it was a team that was very focused and determined. You could really see it really see it in him. Get in here, Mikey. Man, look at Mikey. It's all these guys. It's really. Hey, there's another one. Love you too.
I mean, he's just so freaking happy.
I
Mikey.
freaking love that so much. When I saw that, I can't stop smiling after seeing that. It's like
Who doesn't want to play for that
It's like
guy?
a proud dad.
Yeah.
Going into the season last year, the Michigan Wolverines were ranked 35th. Jim Harbaugh had just restructured his contract, so he was making the all-time low that he's made since he's been in Michigan. And it was speculation from everybody that if this year wasn't, or if that year last year wasn't the year, Harbaugh was gone. Harbaugh was going to make the next step. Now, he would step down. They wouldn't fire him, but Harbaugh was gone. Now, here he is with a chance to win a national championship for the second straight year in a row.
And if you really look at what Jim Harbaugh has done, as you mentioned, Braylon, over the last 2 years, one of the things that we talked about last week was how confident Jim Harbaugh seemed in the week leading up to heading down to Columbus and playing Ohio State. And I don't think that is like fake bravado. I think he looked at those guys on film all year long and knew he had a better team. I think he looks across the sidelines and says to himself, I'm a way better coach than that guy.
He is.
And he went into Columbus. He went into that week of practice, and we always talk about it. Whether you have a boss at your job, you are a reflection of your boss's attitude. You are a reflection of your head coach's attitude. You as an employee take that on. And I think those players look at this guy smiling and happy and confident, and they go down to Columbus like that, and they get the job done. Remember at the Big Ten meetings last year, obviously Jim Harbaugh potentially on the verge of getting fired, and maybe COVID saved that from happening. But he said, "Look, we're going to go down. We are going to beat Ohio State, or we are going to die trying."
Yeah.
That's what he said, and it was a very serious, very poignant. That was a much different attitude from Jim Harbaugh than this year, after having done it now and knowing you can do it again. Like I said earlier, this rivalry has flipped, and you have to give Jim Harbaugh a lot of credit to block out all the noise, block out people like me. I don't know if I ever really wanted Jim Harbaugh fired. I can't remember back because we've done so much winning. Right. I can't remember if I wanted that, but I mean, to go 0-5 against your rival is unacceptable, right? To lose the way you're doing to Michigan State, unacceptable. So you wanted some changes, but look, 2020 Michigan probably would have lost to Ohio State, but you know what? They didn't. They did not play that year. We will never know. We will never know. There are more players on this team. Think about this. For as much as Ohio State has dominated Michigan over the last 15, 17 years, whatever the case may be, there are more players on Michigan's current roster that do not know what it's like to lose to Ohio State than the opposite. These
100%.
players do not know what it feels like to lose to Ohio State.
So they have a different attitude.
Freshmen, if you're a freshman, sophomore, or junior on this team, you do not know what it's like to lose to Ohio State.
Which means you don't already have a preconceived notion, and you already come into it kind of nervous, or you come into it like, oh man, here we go again with these guys. Like when you experience that on that side, that seeps in, like that doubt seeps in, and then the more you lose to it, it seeps in faster and faster and faster. When you don't have that doubt because you don't know what that is, it doesn't seep in. You're just playing. More about the absolute shredding of Ohio State. Thanks to everybody who's online watching WoodwardSports.com right now. Get in the WoodwardSports.com chat. We certainly appreciate it. We are going on a Victory Monday, a Big Ten East Championship Monday. 2 in a row, by the way. We'll keep going. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. Thinking of a new Cadillac? Les Stanford will take care of your first payment. That's right. Your first payment is on Les. Plus, Les Stanford has $500 in cyber cash on all Chevys. Time to treat yourself at Les Stanford in Dearborn. Go to LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com. Find new road. Find them.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at WoodwardSports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
at work, and at home. We're there with smarter security solutions, featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
At Alta.
Uptime matters.
Alta Equipment's got
Stay
everything you
out.
need to get the job done. If you got a big project coming up, check out Alta Equipment. They have got you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO, the number 2, Alta.
Uptime, it matters.
yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
You know what time it
Speaking
is.
of uptime, we are staying out. Jason, our friend from Guardian Alarm.
Champs do, baby.
Yes.
Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Boy, Ohio State could have used some defense
Oh my God, I'm telling you.
on their side of the ball. How you doing, buddy?
Man, I couldn't be better. I'm still on a high. I was so excited
You're
for
the
you
only
guys. This is long overdue. So Guardian Alarm is bringing the champagne, bringing the bubbly. We're
Yeah,
popping bottles,
baby.
baby. Yes, yes.
I should have let it go. Well, I didn't want to break a light up there or
It's too
something
pretty in
like
here.
that.
Yeah, that-
you start
that's
shutting
it
this
right
bad
there.
boy.
I wanted to see it. Hey.
I know.
That's great. So what are your Ohio peeps saying down there for Guardian
Well, I'll
Alarm?
tell you what. So the branches down in Ohio, they showed up to our last meeting with the backdrop of Ohio State. So we just started going into all of our backdrops. So we made a friendly bet, because we love our Ohio branches, that today at 4 o'clock when we do our team meeting, they all have to use the blue backdrop, the University of Michigan logo.
Hey.
So maybe after the show, we just ambush it with you guys just to rub it in a little bit.
I'm with it.
Yes. So,
I'm with it.
but we would have, donned the Ohio State. But yeah, man, hook a brother up. Let's go.
There you go, man.
Yeah, man. So we had Cousins' main lobster
Thank
truck
you.
out there earlier today. So we had lobster.
Oh, they're the best.
And now we got my boy Jason from Guardian bringing in the Prosecco.
Yes.
Lobster and Prosecco.
Let's go, man.
That's a Michigan type day.
Hey, let's raise our glasses. Hey, cheers.
baby. Hoist
You
it up,
them.
go.
Thank you
Get
guys.
some, man.
Hey, appreciate
Stay
you guys.
out.
Cheers, brother.
Stay out.
Hey, thanks to
Stay
Guardian
in,
Alarm.
baby.
They are back on with us for Stuff a Studio coming up here in
Yes,
just
sir.
a couple of weeks.
We will
Merry
be there.
Christmas to everybody.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, baby.
Thank you to Guardian Alarm.
Nothing
baby.
but love for you guys. Appreciate it. Congrats to the Michigan Wolverines. I haven't been this excited about a football game in years, so I just
Stay
wanted to come
out.
and share it.
Hey, Ryan
Stay
Day.
out.
Ryan Day should have used you guys.
That's what I said, man.
For those out there
I said
that
it my own way.
for those out there that act like you've been there before, you guys actually haven't even played Purdue and actually won the Big Ten champion. You know why we're celebrating so big? You see what this shirt says?
Oh!
You see what this shirt says? It says Michigan versus everybody. After winning the Big Ten, after busting Ohio State's ass last year, still came into the season with doubters. The whole year, the schedule sucks. Oh, Michigan's not that good. They can't throw the ball down that field. You got analysts like Heather Dinich talking about Michigan doesn't deserve in the playoffs, and Stephen A. Smith and other people around this city in particular. Well, guess what? Here, Harbaugh and Michigan is. I drink to that.
Amen.
Amen.
Drink to that,
And I want to
fellas.
say this, just for my little narrative, for what it's worth, even after we whooped them, all the commentators wouldn't give us any love.
Nope.
No love
It was
at all.
everything that they
I've
did
seen
wrong.
the memes with all the clown heads, and I think that's glorious, except Mr. Woodson, who fought the good fight, and he represented very well, and I thought that was really unfortunate.
Before we move on, let's hear from Mr. Woodson. This is Charles Woodson going through the airport. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you, guys.
What they do. You know what they did? Went down there to the shoe, to the heart of Columbus. Ooh, mollywop them boys. Everybody talking about, oh, it's a great day, it's beautiful weather, it's gonna be a great day for the Ohio State offense. Nah, you know what Lloyd Carr used to tell our teams? Rain, blood, shit or mud. We don't care where we play, how the weather is, sunny, snow. We come to play, we come to bring that noise. Congratulations, Michigan. Going down there and do your thing, man. I can barely talk right now. Lost my voice. But you know what I can do? I can talk that shit when my boys take care of that work. I'm feeling good today, y'all. Hey, I know y'all celebrating out there tonight. A little bit of Intercept wine, a little Woodson whiskey. Make sure you please drink responsibly, though, all right? But have a good time. Feel good about this one. The boys did good. They did us proud. Go blue, baby. Build your legend.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so funny. You know, whether you're Charles Woodson, you're a Heisman winner, whether you're Braylon Edwards who played, this was a little guy like me who never played but went to the school. Whether you didn't go to the school but you grew up a Michigan fan your whole life, your dad took you to games, whatever the case may be, you raised your kids to be a Michigan fan. This was a win that everybody can celebrate. This is a win that makes you feel good. I saw people yesterday at the Santa Claus event I was at with the kids. That was like it was almost like a deep exhale. The game means so much to you. You're so happy. You're watching the game. They've beat you up for so long. And, you know, now it just feels a little bit different. You feel good about the fact that you now as a football program, because your whole life you're measuring up.
Yeah.
You're trying to measure up. You're trying to measure up in school, get good grades. You're trying to measure up at your job. We're trying to measure up what we do, get numbers. And as a football program, you're trying to measure up yourself against the best. And Ohio State has been the best in the conference for damn near 20 years.
For 20 years.
And you now not only measure up, but you are the new standard bearer in the Big Ten. It feels pretty damn good.
The good thing about sport is, you know, and I don't want to take away from guys that actually played at schools, but, you know, it doesn't matter if you played at an institution. It doesn't matter if you just attended classes at an institution. It doesn't matter that if you were a kid that didn't even go to Michigan, but that's how you and your father bonded, or that's how you and your uncle or your grandfather, so you bonded over Michigan, you support. It didn't matter. Everybody felt the same love. Like, everybody felt the same excitement. Everybody, because you've cheered, you've given a lot to the University of Michigan or whatever program you cheered. In this case, the University of Michigan program, everybody deserves to feel in that the same and feel that same love and passion. But the thing about last year to this year is, last year when you woke up on Sunday, last year, you was like, damn, did we just do that? Like, damn, yes, okay, Michigan, okay, Harbaugh, yeah, Haskins.
Finally.
Yeah, finally, we did that. We woke up on Sunday this year like we knew it. We knew it. We told you last year that we now have the physicality in this division. Remember what Harbaugh, you remember, and you just alluded to it, remember how the Ohio State players played for the first 6 years of Jim Harbaugh's tenure? They wanted that Michigan game. Ezekiel Elliott, J.T. Barrett, Hassan, they wanted that game. They came into that game, and they played way harder than Michigan. You can see it from the word go. This team just has a little bit more on the line. This team wants this more than the other team. Now watch it. The Ohio State team's not the same Ohio State team in terms of wanting to win games, in terms of believing in the rivalry, in terms of we got a clock in the weight room that says countdown till we play that team up north. Well, that clock must be broke because it's not the same vibe. It's not the same feel. But Michigan, in those trenches, when Ohio State scores, Michigan's offensive line, they come back, they get a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? The guys don't give up. The guys don't quit. The guys play hard. Michigan now owns the physicality side in this rivalry. And when you own the physical part of it, you won the game.
I just want to say the playoff will be tomorrow. The playoff rankings will be tomorrow. And Ohio State, they'll be on the outside looking in. And even if TCU loses somehow, and I don't think they will, I just don't think Ohio State now belongs in this Final Four talk. I think Michigan just completely emasculated them on Saturday. They escaped all year. Braylon, you said it. They escaped all year. And this time, they got their head handed to them at home. And Michigan, the way they played that game, these kids kept their cool, where a couple of the Ohio State kids lost their cool. How about that headbutt out of bounds? That started it, man. I think the game really turned on that play. And then late in the game, they did it again. A bad personal foul. Michigan, they didn't say a word. They just went back to the huddle, took care of business. They didn't spike the ball. They didn't point at him. They didn't shh the crowd. None of that stuff. They just took care of business. The only thing I didn't like what they did, and I know I'll disagree with you, Bray, I didn't like that they planted the flag at the end of the game. I just thought they should have just went their business, did their thing, and did it like men. That's the only thing. That's my only thing. That's it.
We can talk about that. It didn't really bug me one way or the other. They won. They own the rivalry. You can do what they want. And then maybe Ohio State can have an answer for that next year. We'll see. For the amount of stuff they've done at Michigan Stadium over the last 20 years or so, I couldn't care less. Yeah, right. So as far as the toughness part goes, emasculating them, and I forgot who said this, but I thought they were spot on. I wish I remembered who it was. You want to talk about toughness. It's not just about physically, it's a mental toughness that Michigan has now and Ohio State does not have. And I think that's a big part of this rivalry that you've got to look at. You just mentioned all the things, too. That is coaching. Couple of things I did want to point out, though, during the game, Braylon, if I could.
Go ahead.
J.J. McCarthy said afterwards, he needed to settle down. Once he settled down and the nerves kind of didn't get the best of him anymore, he felt like he could play his game and he could do some things. But I think it was so important. And, we look at plays in the second half, and you feel like those are bigger than plays that happened in the first half. But I'll tell you this much. You can go and look at the first series of Michigan's offensive series. Ohio State marches down the field and scores a touchdown to take a 7-0 lead.
They deferred, remember? We talked about that?
We did talk about that. But Michigan then...
Told you they would.
I think this was so important. They converted on a 3rd and 6 and a 3rd and 8 to get a field goal out of that first drive.
Yeah.
I think that was so freaking important for the tone of the game and to kind of keep Ohio State's offense off the field a little bit, get some points on that first drive. There were just little moments throughout the game that turned out to be huge in the grand scheme of things. And Bray, I know defensively, former wide receiver made a big play too.
We talked last week. We said in games like this, you have to have guys step up and make plays. Mm-hmm. You got to have guys that aren't necessarily your J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum, your Mike Morris. You got to have some guys that haven't necessarily been the leaders, if you will, the statistical leaders, the guys that you think about always come up and make some plays. Mike Sainristil was amazing. Mike Sainristil, you're talking about a guy that played wide receiver last year, converts to DB this year, played a little bit of wide receiver, but played DB as well. And has to fill in because Turner gets injured, and Turner was one of the best cornerbacks in the country coming into this season, DJ Turner, and now he has to take over. In that game, he made arguably the biggest play in the game. When he goes and uses his makeup speed to come right, and this is perfect technique. Tight end, they did a little late tight end leap, C.J. Stroud. It was excellently constructed. C.J. Stroud has the receiver, and C.J. Stroud made a good throw. To be going off balance, he made a nice throw in the corner. Sainristil uses the makeup speed, gets the ball right between his hands where you want, looking at the quarterback, so it's no pass interference, and knocks that ball off. That was the biggest play in the game.
You cannot.
That's the biggest play in the game.
You cannot execute that any better.
That's the biggest play in the game.
A legendary play.
He's immortalized
in the
now.
Entire series, in my opinion.
You see the size difference?
That was
unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. We could talk.
He
about
made a couple other plays too.
Individual performances: Donovan Edwards, Cornelius Johnson, J.J. McCarthy, just to name a few.
The offensive coordinators. Woo!
Absolutely. We'll get there next. But first, a message. And don't think we don't have some receipts. We're coming to play today. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff a Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward and Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Downtown Detroit is all decked out this holiday season with the return of the Cadillac Lodge in the Monroe Street Midway.
Midway, baby!
The Midway has a giant slide, winter bumper cars, and an indoor arcade. Plus, you can grab drinks at the lodge before and or after games. Shop, eat, and play downtown all winter long with Decked Out Detroit. Check them out at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Good job there, Fletch.
Thank you.
We do have JB in the house. His camera is not working. Don't want to not say hey to JB. Fletch doing a bang-up job over here. Right, Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. Thanks to everybody watching on WoodwardSports.com, Fox2Detroit.com. We certainly appreciate it. Having a little fun here on a Monday. It is a victory Monday, a championship Monday. Michigan wins the Big Ten East. We'll play Purdue in the Big Ten championship game on Saturday. Plenty of time to talk about that. We are basking in the glow of the Michigan win over Ohio State. And Braylon, I do think it's worth pointing out J.J. McCarthy. My goodness. All season long, people have been talking about what he can't do. My goodness, what he can do was on display. Full effect in Columbus on Saturday.
It was good to see JJ have that success, JJ to take that step and have that confidence. It was good to see the offensive coordinators, Weiss and Moore, go to him, depend on him to make those plays and get it down the field. It was everything he needed to do, he did. Everything he needed to do, he extended a couple drives with his legs, made some throws that were some tough throws, sat in there in the pocket. He adjusted up on both of the deep passes. The one was obviously to Cornelius Johnson underneath on a hitch route, and then he turns up and goes. That was on zero blitz. But he steps up in the pocket to complete that pass, and then obviously on the double move, Robert took Cornelius Johnson. He steps up again. He delivers the throw. Like, before the game, last Friday when Stick and I were talking at Feldman Motors, Wrangler Jeep, and that dealership is amazing, by the way. But when we were talking, we said that, you know what, JJ's got to go to a place. JJ has to go to a place where he remembers, you know what, I'm a 5-star recruit for a reason. Jim Harbaugh brought me to the University of Michigan for a reason. I'm QB1 for a reason. So go to that place, remind myself of that, and when I get the opportunity to show it. He took his time, he was patient, because it didn't come out right away in the beginning of the game. It happened later, second quarter, then third quarter, and then the fourth quarter, and it just continued. He made the plays, he stayed in there, he was resilient, and he stayed even kill, Ryan. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the thing I'm proud about J.J. Watson this year. From day one, from game one to how the thing played out with Cade McNamara starting, to then you starting the next week, to now you being QB1, to, well, now you missing throws, and, well, should Cade McNamara have been benched? All throughout those 12 games, those 11 games, he stayed calm, he stayed poised, he stayed even keel, and then he had success. And even after this game in Ohio State, which to win like that in Ohio State, where Michigan hasn't won in 22 years, to double back on what happened last year, like, he got immortalized in this game on Saturday. That's what happens. You win, you beat rivalries. You beat your rivals at your rivals' home place to give yourself a chance to win a national championship. You get immortalized. He's now immortalized in the grains of Michigan history and Michigan lore with that performance, but he stayed even keel. And even after the game, he's still thinking about Purdue. Mm-hmm. He's still thinking about the next game. Got to take your hat off to him.
I just want to say, this is something I brought up all year long. I'm like, they're playing this vanilla offense this whole year. And I asked you guys, do you think they're saving something for Ohio State? And you guys kept saying, "No, I don't think so." No, you don't save, but they did. They saved. How about that little handoff and then the jump pass? I mean,
but it was a great play.
But they saved a lot of stuff.
But that's two different things, man. It's like you're asking me, Michigan not being able to get the ball down the field and have 330 yards passing the game and all of that. You said, are they saving? And I told you, nobody saves offense like that. You don't save getting the ball down the field vertically. You don't save a post route. You don't save throwing a go route. You don't save those things. Now, a trick play, everybody has a couple of those little nuances for a big game. So, yes, a trick play, yes. But, shoot, that big play to J.J. McCarthy, to the first Cornelius play, that's zero coverage. That's all-out blitz. That's just a hitch route. Then when you run zero coverage, there's no safety. So what happens in that is if your defender misses a tackle,
one-on-one,
there's nobody.
Michigan won all the one-on-one
They won all
battles
the one-on-ones. Those are trick plays.
Even on the long touchdown pass to Cornelius Johnson,
zero coverage.
There wasn't. Ohio State. I don't know if that coordinator,
he's done.
Well, not only is he done, but my goodness, is he cocky or what? Getting his teeth kicked in all game and still thinking they're going to win one-on-one battles, and thinking they have better athletes than Michigan does. They do not.
And that's one of the big things I was saying about Ryan Day in terms of last year. Ryan Day, he gets in these situations where he gets out-coached. You look at the Oregon game. You look at the Michigan game last week. They don't make adjustments. It's like, hey, you know what? They're not making the adjustment. You see what Michigan is doing, running the ball on you guys. You see, you're not making adjustments this week. You see, Michigan was literally every time you went zero coverage, every time you went zero blitz, Michigan gashed you for touchdowns of 75, 76, 65, 69 yards, and you still stay in that. That's mind-boggling to you. Ryan Day's in trouble.
You talk about coaching in this one. Guys, in the last 2 years, and I'm a big second half guy. Yeah. I'm a big second half numbers guy because I think second half is all about coaching.
Yeah,
I really believe that. In the second half of the last two Michigan-Ohio State games, Michigan has outscored Ohio State 56-17. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
In the last two games, 56-17, Michigan, Ohio State in 2022 and 2021
Amazing.
Combined. 28-3 this year, 28-14 last year. That is all coaching.
I'm telling you like this. You better assess what Michigan's defense did. First of all, the second half of every game this year, Mask brings that stat in every Monday. He brings a stat in on what Michigan has done in the second half of games. But they didn't pay attention. If you look at Ohio State's offense, if you look at the greatness of what people say, oh, C.J. Stroud, he's going to win the Heisman, and he's arguably the best quarterback in the country, and oh, my God, Marvin Harrison Jr., he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams and all this offensive line. If I was to tell you that they were only going to have 3 points in the second half in Columbus with the national championship on the line, nobody would have believed me. I wouldn't have believed it. Mm-hmm. That Michigan defense held them to 3 points in the second half in Columbus with the NC on the line. I'm just saying that's one of the greatest performances I've ever seen.
Braylon, and how they're winning these games too gives you a lot of hope for not only this year but the program moving forward. Look how they're winning. J.J. McCarthy, sophomore. Donovan Edwards, sophomore. Loveland, freshman.
Yeah.
Mason Graham up front defensively.
Stepping up. There's another step up.
True freshman. I mean, he clogged that middle like he was a 22, 23-year-old fifth-year senior.
Yeah.
I mean, it was incredible to see how they're winning these games. I mean, again, goes back to all this. Both coordinators leave. Your best offensive player's out. Your best defensive player is out. Your two tight ends aren't playing. I mean, come on, man. What more do you need to see? And I think a lot of talking heads after the game were just so stunned about how wrong they got it. And, you know, we're used to oh, Ohio State's going to win the Big Ten. Ohio State's going to beat Michigan. I mean,
it's easy to pick them. It is.
It's lazy.
I mean, only
it's easy and lazy. It's easy and lazy, and that's why I always get mad. And that's why I'm so mad. Like today, I'm like, it's so lazy and so easy just to say Ohio State's going to win, just to ignore what Ohio State has done the first 11 weeks. I miss Ohio State. They'll be all right. They're going to beat Michigan. Michigan sucks. I mean, the last year was a fluke.
Michigan didn't play anybody. Ohio State's just tired and bored.
Exactly. Like it's funny to me, and this was one of the biggest things. It happened all year, but there's one particular game, there's one particular team that both teams played, but there were different outcomes. Both teams played Penn State. And it looked way different. Michigan held Penn State to under, 140 yards the whole game?
Penn State was up in the fourth quarter against Ohio State.
They also had 400. They had over 400 yards against Ohio State. Like, I saw that, and I'm like, okay, people didn't want to pay that attention. It's just a one-off. It's just, they're bored.
I threw it out. I'm one of them. I threw it out. I threw that game out. I got suckered.
Literally, Charles Woodson and Desmond Howard are the only two national.
But they're going to pick them all the time.
Anyway. I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's the point, though. They're the only two guys on a national platform that picked Michigan to win.
But Desmond doesn't pick them all the time, so I'll give Desmond credit. I love Charles. Charles, like me, I'm picking Michigan regardless. I'm picking Michigan regardless on national TV. I've seen Desmond not pick Michigan in this game before. Desmond had Michigan in his Final Four before the season started. I remember that because his Final Four was real ugly outside of Michigan.
You know who else who had? I got to play this for you because I got killed for this, and you knew where I was going with it. You backed me up on this. This was from October 4th. October 4th of this year.
Oh, no. You calling a hot take again?
Is this NC?
I'm not even going to blow the horn.
Is it NC?
I'm not even going to blow the horn.
He's calling something.
NC? All right.
Guys.
NC.
Michigan is going to win the national championship.
NC.
I'm just calling it right now on October 4th, 2022. The Michigan Wolverines are going to win the national championship. 12-0, go to Ohio State, win Big Ten championship. They'll finish with a 3 seed, 2 or 3 seed. They'll win the playoff, and they're going to win the national championship. They have everything you could possibly want tailor-made for them right now to win. They've got the head coach. They've got the quarterback. They're strong up front. They convert on third downs. They play defense. They get after the quarterback. They don't turn the ball over. Each and everything you could possibly want in a national championship team, they have. They're going to win it this year. And I cannot prove that today on October 4th. And I will take my shots. I'll take my medicine. I understand what I'm doing right now and all the heat that I'm about to take from whoever. They're going to win the national championship this year. Book it. And I still feel like that. And they haven't won the national championship yet, but they've gotten as close as they can. 12-0 went down to Columbus and won that game. And one of the things that we talked about there, Braylon, is they don't turn the ball over. 0 turnovers. 2 turnovers for Ohio State. 1 third down conversion rate. 7 of 16. Ohio State 5 of 16. Their head coach outcoached Ryan Day. They were tougher up front. I mean, each and everything lined up. And if I may,
feel free,
please. Some of the comments that were below that. There's such a big gap between Alabama and Ohio State to Michigan right now. This is just biased nonsense. Baron Vaughn. So they play 4 cream puffs at home to start the season, then play a middle-of-the-road Iowa team on the road. They will get blasted by Ohio State, Michigan State, and probably Penn State. Thank you, Baron. LOL. Dudes on meth. Clown emoji. Clown. Fred Jones, LOL, OSU will have something to say about that. Wait till they play a real opponent. Keep going. Too much, too many words. They're going to get dusted in Columbus, says Alan.
Clown.
COVID can't even save them this time. What else do we got here? Is that crack or meth? Look at these people for a nice sports opinion. This is where they go with it. Don't buy anything he's selling. Okay, Rico Will Sr. What about, hey, Andrew J.? They will... This is going to make the loss to Ohio State even sweeter. I mean, these are just some of the kinder ones on this. Our good friend Justin Rose, laugh emoji.
Oh, JR.
Nobody issued an apology, by the way. They have looked really good, but Ryan saying this before they even played Penn State or anyone else for that matter is just ridiculous. It's coming after they only beat Maryland by 7. Thanks, Howdy Doody Deluxe, whatever your name is. Receipts, baby. Keep them coming in.
Nice job, man.
I've argued all year. I've said this all year. We're talking about the Ohio State-Michigan game. Everybody asked, can Michigan win this game without passing? And I told you they could. I said all year Michigan could win this game because they won it already the same way it was last year. They won the same type of game. Michigan is very disciplined. They're very physical at the point of attack. Their in-game adjustments at halftime are unparalleled right now. We played USC. When I was in Michigan, played USC my junior year. One thing I admired about Pete Carroll, I never saw a better halftime adjuster than Pete Carroll. Literally, games in the first half and second half were always very different for Pete Carroll and that USC Trojans team. They came out. Look at the Michigan-USC game that one year where they went to the locker room and it was 0-0 in the Rose Bowl. And then the final score was 42-3. They were great at adjustments. That's what you're seeing out of Michigan right now. Those second half adjustments they stop everything moving on the opposition's offense after the second half. And then on offense, they find ways, they find plays, they find seams and gaps, and they make it happen. Michigan is operating on all levels. And now I saw JJ pass the ball down the field. It's like a shooter, Ryan Ermanni. When you're a three-point shooter, do you stop shooting threes when you don't see it go in? It's like, no, I just got to keep going. I got to keep going. I got to, once I see one go in, once I see two go in. Well, JJ saw 2 passes go for 75 for a touchdown. JJ saw that confidence in the best place to build confidence for a Michigan quarterback at the Columbus Horseshoe. So once he saw a couple threes go in, JJ's all right now.
I'll tell you, in the beginning of that game, and I wrote you, JJ didn't look good to me. I'm like, this is the guy they benched for Cade McNamara. I said that at the beginning of the game because he was missing.
I couldn't
passes.
wait to reply to that. By the way.
And I get it. I understand.
She sent it to you and not me.
No, I put it on the TBL thing.
I wasn't paying attention.
Anyway,
I was locked into it.
I know you were. I didn't believe in him. I like the kid. I think he's got moxie. He's cool. He's a sweetheart of a kid. I just didn't think it. I'm sorry, JJ. I apologize to JJ McCarthy. I'm apologizing right now.
And again, one of the areas where I always thought you were wrong about that, Maz, is I thought that was more of a coaching holdback than anything else that had to do with JJ McCarthy. Guys, we can keep this up. Also, what's next? Just a quick glance down the road. What's next? And is it right to root for TCU? I do want to get there. Is it right to root for TCU? Plus news regarding Cade McNamara, number 3 trending story on ESPN.com right now. We'll get to that coming up. But first, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
Yes, sir. It's getting to that time of the year, guys and gals. It's not sunny anymore. It's over. You got to keep that skin looking good. Get that tan. Get that glow. Chili Peppers Tanning is the place for you. 27 locations, 2 right here on Woodward, and more on the way. And if you join the Pepper Club, they're going to save you $5 on unlimited tanning against any competitor out there. Plus, you get the cleanest salons in the D. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. They are your vitamin D headquarters. They are ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I've lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Time to talk about Centron right now. Official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings, who play the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. Pre-order your limited edition now because they have this six-pack that is amazing. All their original flavors, the sugar-free, the original, and the cranberry. They have joined with WoodwardSports.com to re-energize the community. So why don't you help them? Drink it, live it with Centron.
Hey guys, now the number one top headline. There's people in the WoodwardSports.com chatting about it, obviously, and now the number one trending story on ESPN.com, and that is news today that Michigan quarterback Cade McNamara has entered the transfer portal.
You mean captain?
And captain. And you know what? Look, nobody's going to begrudge him. In my opinion, this is absolutely the right thing to do for this young man. He's got a couple of years of eligibility. He can absolutely play. It's just not going to happen here at Michigan.
He's going as a grad transfer.
And now the rules allow you to do this. Go play, see what you can do, and keep it going.
Yeah, I know what the big deal is. Look, the kid came and gave us a Big Ten championship. Yep. He got beat out by J.J. McCarthy. Jim Harbaugh thought that J.J. McCarthy was a better fit for what this team wanted to ultimately do in terms of national championship. Looks like so far he's correct. So, look, he made captain. Yep. He did some good things here at the University of Michigan. He'll always have his teammates, but he still has eligibility left. So go ahead and get that eligibility out there, man, and get to another team where you can finish your career the way you want to, man. I wish Cade nothing but the best. He was absolute professional the whole time he was there.
Yeah.
Think about the decision that Jim Harbaugh had to make here. That's Coach of the Year written all over it. This guy is a pro coach. Michigan got their guy, man. They got their Bo Schembechler and Lloyd Carr rolled into one. They got the guy. And this is the guy that we all thought he was going to be. Jim Harbaugh, I could say it. I think he's the best coach in college football right now, hands down.
Might be
100%, man. I would say Kirby Smart, just for the simple fact
to be the man you gotta be the man.
Guess what, Bray? He never coached in the pros.
You said what?
He never coached in the pros. This guy got to a Super Bowl, and now he's going for a championship.
And Jim Harbaugh doesn't have a national championship. We're talking about best college coach. We're not talking about the best, whatever. We're talking about best college coach.
Still, St. Nick stands on his own.
This year,
let me say that.
This year, Kirby Smart's still the best coach because he beat St. Nick the last 2 years in a row and won the national championship last year. So it's got to be him. You got to beat the man.
He's peaking. Put it that way.
Well, the question is, if Jim Harbaugh wins the national championship, is he the best coach in Michigan history? If he wins the national championship this year?
I think so.
It's hard to argue where this track is going. Yeah. I mean, this is as successful a 2-year stretch as we've seen, right? Yeah. I mean, this is one of the more dominant seasons we've seen. Definitely, I haven't really thought about it because it's
interesting. It's like Lloyd has 6 Big Tens, 1 national title. Jim will have 2 and 1 if he wins it all this year. 2 and 1. Lloyd, Bo never won. I mean, a national championship. It's tough.
It is tough, and when you do this, when you compare anybody, you gotta knock somebody down. But the goalposts have moved in college football now too. I mean,
making it harder or easier?
Well, it more defined, right? I mean, Michigan, when Bo Schembechler went undefeated, didn't even make it to the Rose Bowl because there was a conference vote. I mean, so you don't even get to play that out and see where you are, right?
This is different anyway. This is this is new.
I know.
You can't even compare them to the old guys.
Well, that's why it's so
Bear
hard
Bryant
now.
And all of that. You can't even bring them up.
And when Lloyd Carr won the national championship, I mean, even that is a vote. It's they didn't play Nebraska that year in the college football playoff game, or anything like that. It's a vote. Yeah. So even that, now that you're playing this thing out, I do think it's really interesting to see how it goes. If Bo Schembechler could have played it out, would he have won a national championship? If Lloyd Carr could have finished in the top 4 a couple more times.
Yeah.
You know, with it, but it was 1 versus 2 back then. So I mean, you just never know how these things play out. It's as dominant a run as we have seen it, and just for me, final thing: Cade McNamara will live in Michigan history forever. He was the quarterback to win Michigan's first Big Ten championship in a 17-year period, beat Ohio State, slayed the Dragon,
and he got replaced.
And got replaced. I mean, God bless him. We wish him nothing but the best. And obviously, Bray, I'll let you say where you think he'd be a perfect fit.
First of all, he's going to be the answer to a trivia question for a very long time. Like, he's going to be the answer to a trivia question. But I think Iowa's the perfect fit for Cade McNamara. I know a couple other people have been saying that, so it's not necessarily my take, although I did think this before it. You look at Cade. Cade's guy that doesn't turn the ball over. He's very disciplined, not a big mover in the pocket, if you will. Has a good enough arm, but he's not a huge, big cannon, big rocket, things like that. As I'm lining it up, I mean, also Cade's about 6'4". You're lining that up. That sounds like Iowa. It sounds like an Iowa quarterback, although sometimes those guys are like 6'5", 6'6". But it sounds like an Iowa quarterback. They hand the ball off a lot. They throw the ball to the tight end. They're not really down the field pushing the vertical game. They throw a lot of slants. It could be a perfect spot for Cade. And you're looking at a team that needs a quarterback. They're a Big Ten school. They're in the West. This could be their last year before USC and UCLA and everything shakes up in 2024. This could be a good spot for Cade to have some success and finish his career the way he wants to.
I'll tell you this: the Big Ten has really had a great weekend. To get Matt Rhule and to get Luke Fickell to come to the Big Ten,
thank God,
is
that West
huge.
Is horrible.
I want to say this: Cade could fit on either one of those two teams, first of all. But I want to ask you guys: could Michigan have won this game with him as quarterback this year?
I don't know.
I think the answer is yes.
I don't know.
I don't want to play that game.
I don't want to play it either. I don't want to play it either because you just don't know. I mean,
because there were a couple situations where JJ scrambled out of potential sacks, out of potential, like gain of ones, where he ended up getting 6 or 7 or first down. So Cade can't get. That's not Cade's cup of tea. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know. So I would say I don't know.
I mean, honestly, if you're still worried about is Cade better than JJ, was the right decision.
No, I'm not bringing that up anymore. I just asked you a question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Obviously, the right decision was made.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
I don't think they lose either way. That's all.
Either way, I potentially disagree.
I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree. I think JJ,
because you know what you have in JJ, which he's one dimensional. So if you're Ohio State's defensive coordinator, Cade's one dimensional. All you guys is keep him in the box, play man-to-man coverage, and keep him corralled and go after him and get sacked. With JJ, there's that's that 3D feature where you're like, is he gonna try to do an RPO? Is he gonna sneak up? They didn't even do a lot of RPOs this year. They just actually quarterback design runs. So that gives you cause to concern to worry about two different things. So that's why I think Ohio State's defensive coordinators wouldn't have had a tougher time game planning for Cade. I would say that.
College football playoff. Give you a quick look at it next. Are you rooting for TCU? Is that the right thing to do? Ooh. We'll have that for you next. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, and they bring champagne.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, Jason.
We don't want them to stay
out. You see the bad guys see that black and yellow sign out in front of the house. It tells the bad guys one thing: stay out. Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 local monitoring. Make sure what is important to you. Stay safe. Call that number right now. 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again. 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff-A Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward and Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff-A Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarthy on our side.
Lemieux and McCarthy, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hey, you know who loves Big Boy? Michigan loves Big Boy. That's right.
Big Boy.
Get down there and
Jim.
get those new loaded burgers and fries right now. It's not the Big Jim. It is now. It's not the Slim Jim. It is the Big Jim. How about the bacon blue burger and the chili cheeseburger and those fries? You got to dress them up now. Nacho cheese fries, chili cheese fries, baked potato fries. Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Big Boy.
Big Boy.
All right, guys. So obviously now you look ahead, and I really believe, and I'm sure this is the prevailing theme, regardless of what happens with Purdue, Michigan is going to the college football playoff.
Yes.
They're 16.5-point favorites.
It's just a matter of they're going to be 2 or 4.
Right.
And obviously.
Or maybe even 3. You never know, depending about how it goes. So here's how it looks.
Or 1.
Championship weekend. Here are the Power 5 championship games. Clemson, UNC, nothing. TCU plays Kansas State. That's a very difficult game. Kansas State.
They can score.
They play good football, man.
Good football.
Michigan, Purdue, USC, and Utah, LSU, and Georgia. And remind you, USC already lost
to Utah.
So, if you want to go back to that AP poll, college football playoff is going to come out tomorrow.
TCU is 2.5-point favorites. That's it.
Look, if you're Michigan, 1, 2, and 3 in the college football playoff, 1, 2, 3, and 4, this is how it's going to look college football playoff tomorrow night. As it stands, if everybody wins out, Georgia would play USC and Michigan would play TCU. I am rooting for TCU in this one because I think I want to take my shot at TCU in the national semifinal game and then see where you end up. But I am going to be rooting for TCU to win that Big 12 championship game. I'd love to play them.
Yeah, I definitely want to play them. I keep it because this is how it's going to look. It's how it's going to play out. They're trying to sneak Alabama up there. Don't be surprised if on Tuesday night Alabama's ahead of Ohio State. Don't be surprised if Alabama's ahead of Ohio State on Tuesday night. But this is how it's shaping out right now. Yeah, you want to cheer for TCU. You want that first round of the playoff. You want that to be a good game, but you want it to be a game like like Alabama played against Cincinnati last year. Hey, here's a little tune-up game, a little fight, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to play back-to-back, you don't want to play back-to-back number ones or back-to-back studs or teams that you know is going to be in dogfights back-to-back. But at the same time, this is what you get in the playoffs, and you get those games are going to be like that. I just don't want O State to sneak in there anyway, no how. That's what I'm okay.
I don't think they are. I think they're done.
If TCU and SC both lose,
it's Alabama and Ohio State.
Exactly
in there.
Ooh.
Exactly. Or if TCU and SC lose, if one or the other lose, Ohio State sneaking in.
Well, tomorrow night's going to tell the story because Alabama's season is over and Ohio State's season is over. So whoever is ranked above each other, whether it's Alabama above Ohio State or Ohio State above Alabama, their resumes are done. So tomorrow night will tell you which team is going to jump up to 4 if, in fact,
one
TCU or USC
and
lose.
You know who they want it to be.
That's very important.
It'll be Bama.
100%.
I don't think it's totally – I almost think it's a 40% chance that both USC and TCU lose their games. And
what makes you think USC is going to lose?
Because they've already lost to Utah.
I get it, but have you seen them play lately?
I have. They can't play defense. They don't play any defense.
And 100%, not this past weekend, 2 weeks ago, I told you on this show, I said that DTR and UCLA was going to upset USC.
You did.
If DTR, talking about Dorian Thompson-Robinson, if his hand and thumb wasn't messed
He
up,
played with a concussion on that last series.
He was damn
Nobody
near,
will convince me otherwise.
He was crying in pain the whole game and still went out there and threw for over 300 and rushed for over 60, and they almost got that done. So it's possible because of that defense. Their defense is atrocious, and that's always been the Pac-12. Yeah, we're going to light it up, have a Heisman Trophy winner, and going to score 50 points. But we're going to win 50-47.
Right.
That's always been the Pac-12.
Do you like you think you can get in the track meet with USC and beat them if you're Michigan?
They're deep. Like, we impose physicality on them, and that's why I've always been. Well, that's why the last 2 years I've been confident in Michigan. Is the physicality, and I think when you play against those guys who play against USC, I think Michigan will have some form on the defensive coordinating side to like stop them. You know what I'm saying? You bend, but you don't break.
Bray, you mentioned Ohio State. You don't want Ohio State to sneak in there.
Hell no.
I would say there is a big part of me that wants USC and TCU to lose so that Alabama and Ohio State both get in. So you have Georgia, Michigan, Alabama, and Ohio State in the Final Four. There's nothing anybody can say about you at that point.
About the loss?
There is nothing. So I can just say it now, not that it matters. Oh, you played TCU to get to the national championship game or something like that. Give me Alabama at 3. Give me Ohio State in the national championship game. I'd love to play Ohio State again in the national championship game because then you'd whoop them.
Yeah, I would like to get this first national championship, and then I can do that. Then we can do that next year. You know, we can be no, but you know what? You're right though, Ryan, and it's the sense that Michigan's only number 2 in the country right now. Because they have to be. Like, nobody wants Michigan at number 2 right now. Like, people still want to try to find ways to say, well, you know what? Travion Henderson was hurt. Well, you know, what would have happened if Jackson Smith and Jigba would have played in this game? You know what I'm saying? Even if Michigan was to beat this Georgia team this year, okay, they won a national championship, but they couldn't have beat that Georgia team from last year. So it's always going to be something with Michigan.
So you talk about the people.
Yeah.
Everybody wants Michigan in the college football playoff and in the final.
But I'm saying in terms of the hate, though.
And let the hate go. Everybody wants them in. Fletch put it up. 17 million people watch the Michigan-Ohio State game. It is the most ever to watch a regular season college football game on Fox. It is the most watched college football game in the regular season anywhere in 11 years since 2011. And oh, by the way, that too was Michigan, Ohio State, up 3% over last year's game on Fox. This team is a ratings juggernaut. And I talk about the college football playoffs being a television show. A lot of times it's not who's the most deserving. It's, there's another story to be told. This college football playoff, there's no way you couldn't tell me that these people don't want Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and Alabama in that final.
The only thing that and I'm going to get into that, the only thing that kind of sucks for, I don't want to say sucks, wrong word, because I don't like them anyway. The only thing that would hurt Ohio State is they got trounced at home. Like, remember we would talk about losses? Like, the big thing we said, you said, hey, it's got to be a close loss. You want a, last-second field goal. You want to win by 1, something like that in terms of to get a 1-loss Ohio State or a 1-loss Michigan in. They lost by 22, and in the second half, they didn't score. They scored 3 points. Oh, by the way, it was at home. But going back to the views, you always ask this game, and it was, what's the best rival of all time?
Michigan, Ohio State.
And it's been this huge argument over the past 10 years because it hasn't been necessarily that type of game. You know, you've had some great you've had some great Alabama LSU games. You have some great Alabama Georgia games, Auburn, and there's been some other rivalries. This right here proves it. This right here proves it. This year and last year, in terms of Michigan's views, in terms of this, it proves what the rivalry is. It's number 1 all time.
Who's your let me rephrase it. Who is your dream final? Do you want to play Georgia again?
Who's my dream final this year?
What do you think will happen this year, and what do you want to happen? I do think it's very dangerous when you play this. I want to play TCU.
What do I think is going to happen?
Yeah, what do you think is going to happen, and what do you want to happen?
Georgia, Michigan, USC, Alabama. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what I think is going to happen. What I want to happen is Michigan, USC, TCU, and Georgia.
TCU and Georgia. That's interesting.
That means Georgia will have to lose to LSU,
right?
Because that drops them down to 4. Or 3 and out, yeah.
You know, I just think this is a really fun time to be a Michigan fan. And when you get into, I want to play this team, I don't want to play that team, it's always dangerous. But let me just say this. There's not a team out here.
That we fear.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
Not a team out here.
You don't feel Georgia?
No, I don't at all.
Going into the, I'm going to let me just jump in. I'm going to let you get after this. When we were talking, we talked about, because you jumped and said national championship, correct?
Yes.
And I said 12-0. I said, but I got to wait to see if we could beat Georgia. That was my big thing. I said, I jumped in with the 12-0 for sure. I said Michigan will win the Big Ten. 12-0. I said, but I haven't necessarily seen enough to beat Georgia. I've said that all year. I've been very honest. After watching the game on Saturday, Michigan win the national championship, I have no doubt in my mind. They showed me what they can do, and they showed me the moments, and they showed me the confidence. They can win the national championship, not even close.
Do you think Corum will come back?
He's got a month.
I know.
Sit on that.
He's got a month.
Sit on that, because I do want to ask you about that layoff. May it be a help
this year,
a benefit this year, whereas last year I think it was a detriment. I want to ask you about that, but first, a message from Custom Health Centers. Down 13 pounds and strong, baby.
Attaboy.
That's right. Custom Health Centers has you covered. Your customized approach to weight loss. Think of all the ways that weight affects your health, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Custom Health Centers helps you. Takes the willpower out of weight loss. I am on this program right now, and I was down 14 pounds. I feel great. Down 14 pounds, and believe it or not, Thanksgiving week only gained 1 pound back. 13 pounds down over the last several weeks, and I feel like $1 million. Guys, give them a call. 844-789-THIN. That number again, 844-789-THIN.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Looking to buy or sell your home? Well, look no further. I got the guy for you. Mike Phillips over at Keller Williams Legacy in Dearborn. Simply put, 23 years in the game. He knows what he's doing. He's number one, man. Whether you're a player or a fan, helping you buy and sell is his top priority. Go to 313-403-0011, game on. And also, Mike Phillips is a hell of a guy. 003.
Yeah, he is.
Hey, hell of a guy. 313-403-0011, game on.
Great dresser, too.
Absolutely. Guys having a lot of fun. Thanks to everybody in the woodwardsports.com chat. We certainly appreciate it. Let's go. Victory Monday, Championship Monday, as it is. Guys, last year, and again, there's no way to prove this, but last year, I feel if Michigan played Georgia the week after Iowa, I don't know if Michigan would have won, but that would have been a much different game than it was a year ago.
For sure.
I think that layoff absolutely crippled Michigan last year to the fact where, you know, it's almost like the first game of a season.
Yeah.
The first game of the season, you have to literally play your best game the first game of the season. It reminds me back in the 80s, late 80s, when Michigan would play Notre Dame the first game of the season, but Notre Dame got to play that extra game, a tune-up for Michigan. Either way, I think it hurt Michigan last year. this year, I absolutely think, Braylon Edwards, that this will benefit Michigan, this long layoff. You get a chance, at least with Corum, to get healthy. You get a chance that Donovan Edwards will be a lot healthier with his thumb or his hand or whatever the case is, and perhaps Mike Morris gets healthy as well. This is a banged-up Michigan team that I think this layoff is really going to help.
Yeah, last year, another thing that you can think about, when you have a whole month to think about a team that everybody's calling unbeatable, you know what? Doubt. There's that word doubt again. Doubt starts to seep in and set in. But this year, like you said, it gets guys back injury. Last game, yesterday, Saturday, Mike Morris didn't play. Blake Corum tried to go, didn't work for him. Donovan Edwards had a hand thing, but he still was able to go, wrapped it up, and obviously to the tune of 216 yards. But you get guys back healthy. You get guys back because you got some other guys that have some nicks and bruises in a season like this. So getting guys back is key. You want everybody operating at full potential because they played that well yesterday. I keep saying yesterday. They played that well Saturday with some guys out. Just imagine if those guys are there to give them that extra spark, to be those leaders Mike Morris is on defense and Blake Corum is on offense, man. That will help, especially how they played now that JJ feels that way. Now JJ's had that rhythm. How cool was it to watch him zone out and that zen out before the game and sitting Indian style, just kind of zoning? I was like, yo, he's gonna do something today.
Do you see that picture of when he threw the long pass, or it was one of the runs from Donovan Edwards, and they panned back and they looked at JJ, and he was just staring at the Ohio State sideline.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I did.
That was.
I did.
That's as good as you can get. If you're a Michigan Wolverine player or coach, that's your finest moment, what happened on Saturday. And hopefully they can take it another step further this time.
It's funny you said that, actually. So that's called trolling. I know you guys know about that. I know you guys know about that. Trolling. So Ohio State has trolled Michigan a lot. It is what it is. But last year when Michigan won, I thought Ohio State fans, I thought the players, I thought they were cool. Like, I thought they were classy, which is not a word you use a lot for Ohio State. I think they were classy in the loss. They said, hey, good win. They fought hard. They beat our butts, etc. Like, it was a lot of that. This year, they're so angry. They're so pissed. They have not been the same gracious losers that they were last year. They've been attacking on social. They've been attacking everywhere else, and I love it. I thought you guys were too nice last year. I wanted this last year, but I'm glad you gave it to me this year.
I agree, Matt. Did you say their coach or mad at their coach? I think that's where the
vitriol.
They
want a new coach.
That's where their vitriol is. Yeah. And I'll tell you this. I thought Desmond Howard, and I don't agree with Desmond Howard a lot of the stuff he says on that game day pregame show.
Most of the stuff I don't agree with.
Most of the stuff. But one of the things that he said that got immediately shut down by Kirk Herbstreit, Pat McAfee, Reese Davis, and they just totally shut him down when he said, look, you have pointed all year to this toughness thing. Ohio State was being attacked for being out-toughed by Michigan last year and have put so much focus into this year's game. Everything they were doing, from the taped helmets and everything like that. If you lose that game, what does that say about you? There's going to be a lot of questions about Ryan Day moving forward if he loses to Michigan. And the rest of the panel shut him down on that. And I'll tell you, he was spot on, because those fans in Columbus are looking at one guy as responsible for losing twice to Michigan, and that's Ryan Day. And I'll tell you, here's the pen, buddy. Here's the pen. Sign your extension. I hope they don't run you out of town like John Cooper.
Ohio State is built different right now. You just have to call it is what it is. And maybe it started under Urban Meyer, but we didn't necessarily fully see it until now. We're seeing it in Ryan Day, or we're seeing Michigan beat the brakes off of Ohio State 2 years in a row, this time in the horseshoe. They are a business transactional school where the guys are coming in to go to the league. Their whole selling is the league. It's, hey, man, we'll get you paid. We'll get you paid NIL. You know what? Here, you want 2.5? Come on down to Ohio State. You want to go to the NFL and change your family's wealth or your family's situation? Come to Ohio State. Let's get your brand together. Everything is about the NFL. Everything is about money. Everything is about – so you're – teaching these kids at 18 when you're about to bring them into the school, you're focusing them on the money. You're focusing them already, Ryan, if you think about it, on individualism or individuality. It's like, yo, I'm going up there to ball. I'm going over to get paid. Whereas everybody laughed at Jim Harbaugh. I didn't laugh, but I also said I don't know if he can win like this, not getting the 5-star recruits, not saying, hey, you come here and get the NIL deal, you get the money. Hey, you come here and we'll get you drafted, we'll get you started. I said, maybe you will have to change. Jim didn't change. He still goes into living rooms and preaches the team. Yep. He preaches we do things the right way. We're disciplined. You're going to come here and get the best education. Like, that goes a long way, apparently, still to these individuals. So now you know what they do? They're team. These guys buy into each other. These guys buy into wanting to win for Michigan. These guys buy into beating Ohio State or that team down south. This team buys into the rivalry, the 10-year war. That Ohio State team, from what I saw to them, they just care about getting to the NFL now because that's what Ohio State is focused on. Michigan is still focusing on doing the little things, team, the Big Ten, the tradition, and that's the difference you see in the last 2 years with these games. Michigan wants to win, beat Ohio State. Ohio State guys are trying to get to the league.
Hey, Ohio State, we all know it. They are wide receiver U. They get everybody. That's what they do. And who's the guy that recruits for them, that coach?
Brian Hartline.
Brian Hartline. How do you take some of those kids away from that school now and bring them here to Michigan? That's the next move for Michigan, if you're asking me. I know they're paying down there, and Jim Harbaugh does it his way, the Michigan way. But is there a way to stop that pipeline from happening?
Yeah, it is. It's called that graphic we just read that said 17 million views. The highest rated watch game since 2011, which was also Michigan and Ohio State. It's 2 years in a row where Michigan has beat the brakes off Ohio State. Beat the brakes off of Ohio State, where Ohio State just can't. They look confused in the second half. It's just like nothing went right. They couldn't make anything right. Everybody looked off kilter. That's how you get those recruits. All you got to do is turn that film on. All you got to do is show that graphic. If I'm a mom, if I'm a dad, or if I'm the actual son that's going to Ohio State or Michigan, I'm like, well, I ain't going down there to Ohio State.
And look at what's happening now, too. I mean, Ohio State, you win championships as well. I mean, Ohio State was winning the Big Ten championship every year and making the playoff. Who doesn't want to be a part of that? Now the table is turned. It's Michigan who's winning the Big Ten championship every year and going to the playoffs every year, or at least 2 years in a row. And that's all that these kids remember. Michigan, a lot of these, like I mentioned earlier, if you're a freshman, sophomore, or junior on Michigan's team, you have never lost to Ohio State. That's what you know.
Yeah.
That's what you know. If you're a sophomore, junior, or senior in high school right now, and you're being recruited, you have not seen Ohio State beat Michigan. You've only seen Michigan beat Ohio State and do it 2 years in a row handily now. They've already flipped two kids, as you mentioned.
Yep.
Ohio State's identity, I take it back. Ohio State's recruiting identity has changed since they won a national championship for the 14-15 season, and then they've gone on this run of playoff appearances and even a national championship appearance in which they lost to Alabama. They went from recruiting Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Texas, and Florida. That's where Ohio State recruited. They said, they were going to get the best kids in Ohio, typically four-star guys. They would take some 3-stars and maybe a 5-star here or there. They were getting guys out of Pennsylvania, hence the Big 33 game, which is the best in Pennsylvania versus the best in Ohio. That's where they were going to get their kids. When you recruit kids like that, you're recruiting kids that know the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry. You're recruiting kids that believe in Ohio State and love Ohio State, and they're great athletes, and they're going to go on to the NFL. But you're recruiting the kind of kids you've been recruiting forever and that you bust Michigan's butt with. Now they went away from recruiting the Ohio kids that kind of know the Michigan rivalry. Now they're recruiting kids from California and Arizona. They're going all over the map. They changed the way they recruited, and they lost their grit, their toughness, and their sense of identity in this rivalry.
And you mentioned the wide receivers, Maz. You watching Michigan play football, if you're an offensive lineman, tight end, running back, defensive lineman, or defensive back, there's one school you want to go play at now. Michigan.
Yeah.
That's 100%. Michigan.
Oh, that's a good rep.
I do want to talk a little bit. There is some news regarding the Big Ten. This is big news regarding the Big Ten. Also, J.J. McCarthy, what he has the opportunity to do for Michigan. Lots to get to on a Victory Monday, a Championship Monday, as it were. But first, a message from Moneyball.
Check out Moneyball Sportswear. It's your one-stop shop, whether you want the latest in look and athletic apparel or you need new uniforms for your team. Desmond Ferguson does an amazing job. That's my guy. UD Titans. He's amazing. And the product, the quality is so good. I wear the hoodies, the jogging pants, the socks. it's just amazing. It's amazing feel. It's amazing comfort. Good dude too. Check out moneyballsportswear.com.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff a Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward and Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Markets, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
With the holiday season here, Swiss Insurance wants to remind you that to insure those gifts of jewelry or collectibles. In the last 2 weeks, Swiss has saved in clients an average of 26% on their insurance premiums.
26%?
26, my guy, while increasing coverage. That's a lot of money to free up for the giving season, if you know what I mean. Happy Thanksgiving has been in the past from Swiss Insurance Group and my man Mark. But speaking of Swiss Insurance Group, why don't we break down the Swiss Insurance Group play of the game? Now, this is the coverage of the game right here. You're going to notice right now, Ohio State, they're 1-1-1, man-to-man across the board before the pre-snap. You see that everybody's covered by somebody. Everybody has a man and has an assignment.
That's a mistake.
100%. And that, where Ryan Day made a few of those. Right now, you got, 38-23. This is pretty much, game was over already before this, but here you go. Let's run the play. They blitz. They turn it from a one-on-one, one high safety to zero coverage, zero blitz. That means nobody's there. Zero coverage means if your guy gets past you, nobody else can help you. And as you'll see, next clip, yeah, Donovan Edwards got past his guy, which was the linebacker. And you know what? You see Donovan already there. You see the outside linebacker for Ohio State putting his hand up like, no, come back. Don't go, Donovan. Donovan, no, don't go. Next play. Yeah, Donovan's in the rear view already at the 40, 39 yards to go for a touchdown. This is the type of coverage that you want to prevent from having. So in order to prevent coverages like this, you got to go to Mark and Swiss Insurance Group, because that is not the coverage you want. You want Mark. You want to be covered real good.
Boy, this kid is one hell of a player, Braylon Edwards. Talking about Donovan Edwards, good. That is. And
Michigan's
again,
own.
Blake Corum.
How great is that?
Hope to God he's healthy for the playoff. Hope to God he's healthy for a national championship game. But this Donovan Edwards kid is electrifying. Something really special. And he will be in the conversation for the Heisman Trophy next year for sure, in my opinion.
Definitely has an opportunity to be in there. But, to be honest, next year they might be actually pulling. The thing that you said last year is going to come true next year. And that's that JJ and the running back, because at the time you said Blake, they're going to be pulling for Heisman Trophy votes next year, JJ and Donovan Edwards. The thing about it was it just played so well back and forth, because they didn't start off great in the first quarter. But from the second quarter to the fourth quarter, I thought Weiss and Moore did an amazing job. It was almost a master class in terms of the play calling. They got the big run. They got the big run and catch by Cornelius on the first one, which was zero coverage again. They went zero blitz. So once the cornerback misses the tackle, there's nobody back there. There's no safety to help. So now you get that. So now, boom, you get that off. What did they do again, Ryan? They come right back, still go man coverage, still go zero, and then that's when you hit them with the play, great route by Cornelius Johnson. He scores another touchdown. Now they jump back into the run game. They're like, hey, you know what? They're passing the ball. Let's drop in the passing game in the second half. Let's play the pass. Well, here comes Donovan Edwards with 2 touchdowns over 70 yards. So they played a back-and-forth game real nice. You got to tip your cap because we've been coming at Weiss and Moore for the better part of the last 3-4 weeks.
Absolutely.
Better part of the last 3-4 weeks, we've been coming at them saying we got to see more. We got to see something better. And guess what? They definitely showed us more, no pun intended.
Kudos to them. Just this about J.J. McCarthy. I do believe he has an opportunity to be a first-round draft pick in the NFL before it's all said and done. Yeah. And if this conference is going to get a national championship, if this team is going to get a national championship, I do believe you need a first-round talent at that quarterback position. And that's, again, you could find me a bunch of exceptions to that rule.
Like right, Georgia. Like if somebody's going to hit you with Stetson Bennett, you know what you hit them with? Well, they had 6 first-round. They had 6 for defensive players.
Exactly. I just think that's the type of caliber of caliber of player that you need. And a first-round quarterback is not it's pretty unique. I mean, Kerry Collins in 95 and then Dwayne Haskins in 2019.
Justin Fields
after, but I'm talking about the window there was 95 to 2019.
Yeah,
right.
Ground and pound, baby.
Yeah. So, and the reason why I bring up that is because this was a big couple of days for Big Ten teams. We talk about how crappy the Big Ten conference was as a whole. And the way you elevate the conference as a whole, it's to hire good, successful coaches and recruit quarterbacks. And step 1 checked off the list for Nebraska and Wisconsin. Nebraska has hired Matt Rhule to become their head coach.
Great job.
8 years, $72 million. Wisconsin is hired Luke Fickell away from Cincinnati. They have finalized that deal today. So you've got 2 very successful coaches coming to the Big Ten. That makes this conference better. Braylon Edwards, your take on that?
Matt Rhule definitely saw the job he did down there in Baylor. Look, everybody's not built for the NFL. You know, you can't hold that against him. Carolina. Look what happened with Nick Saban. He did make one play ball. I think he barely snuck into a playoffs or made none. It's just not that for everybody. He's a damn good college coach, though. He knows how to talk to these kids, knows how to work with these kids, and also he's a good coach. Fickell, on the other hand, Fickell's special. Like, Luke Fickell's special. I think Luke Fickell could be a national champion coach. Like, that's how I feel about him.
He sure can.
He can be a coach. And the crazy thing about it, let's take a step back. I'm very shocked that they didn't go with Jim Leonhard. They have been grooming Jim Leonhard for a very long time to be the head coach. You know, obviously he played at Wisconsin. He was All-American. He's in my class. He's All-American. Played in the league for 13 years with the Jets, Buffalo Bills. He was a captain for us with the Jets. He comes to Wisconsin. He's from Wisconsin, the state that is, and he becomes a defensive coordinator at such a young age. I just knew that they were groom. It was the perfect story. It was a Jim Harbaugh type story. Just like, but for Luke Fickell, I'm like, hey, you know what? I ain't got a problem with that. Luke Fickell's a damn good coach. And I think he's going to restore some prominence to Wisconsin. And also watch out for Wisconsin kind of changing it up a little bit. If you go back, Ryan and Mass, and look at Wisconsin from even back in the early 90s with Barry Alvarez, or even a little before that, they've never changed their identity. Nope. They're going to give you an average quarterback that's going to have a ton of interceptions. They're going to give you a running back from Jersey or Pennsylvania that's going to have over 2,200 rushing yards and be average in the NFL. And they're going to have offensive linemen that are 340 pounds but can move, and they're going to have a damn good tight end, damn good linebacker. He's going to change that up a little bit. Mark my words, they're going to start switching it up and be able to pass the ball as well as run.
First with Matt Rhule, I think that is a slam dunk hire for Nebraska. Urban Meyer talked about what a great program. I mean, you have one team in the entire state.
It's a great gig,
and they do have a lot of money down there in Nebraska. So he could do it at Baylor. It's all about player development at a school like that. Took Baylor essentially from the death penalty to damn near playoff at Baylor. He's going to do the same thing at Nebraska. He's going to have that team going. For Luke Fickell, there was nothing left to do at Cincinnati.
There wasn't.
You could not do anything more than he did at Cincinnati. Got that program to a college football playoff. I think this past weekend they lost their first home league game in something like 3 years.
Yeah.
There's nothing more to do.
And Cincinnati has to be they have to accept that. They got to know that. Thank you for the service.
They're still going to be a prominent team. He put them on the map.
Yeah.
I still think they'll continue to do well.
Now, I'm partial to this kid because he's the quarterback at the school my nephew goes to. But Brady Drogosh, the number two quarterback in the state, only behind Dante Moore, who's going to Oregon.
King High School.
Now, that's interesting. If he was committed to Luke Fickell to go to Cincinnati. Yeah. He was going to enroll in a couple of weeks at Cincinnati. Now Fickell goes to Wisconsin. Maybe Drogosh goes to Wisconsin. Or, you know who else I'd give up a call to now? Is Mel Tucker. You know, if I'm Mel Tucker, I'm calling this kid now and seeing what's going on. But definitely two coaches that are going to improve this conference because, honestly, this Big Ten was embarrassing this year.
Sure was.
It was embarrassing to see the Big Ten as bad as it was this year. And I don't know how Penn State is number 8 in the country.
They're playing better, but they don't deserve that.
Maybe that's just how watered down perhaps college football is this year. I don't know.
They're a brand still.
Yeah.
They're a brand. I mean, they're probably in on their reputation.
Yeah. I think Michigan, I think the Big Ten has started to go that way, and that's why I said it was so good that we have USC. You have UCLA coming because the Big Ten, if you look at it this year, like as people were taking shots at Michigan and even Ohio State to a little bit, I was like, they got a point. Big Ten is trash this year. But when you hire guys like that, part of it is the West, most of it is the West, but you hire guys like that, they're going to shape that West up in no time. And then you add UCLA and USC in another 2 years. This Big Ten could be special moving forward from 2024, especially after a couple national championships, if I do say so myself.
Remember a few years ago, Fickell, didn't he turn down East Lansing?
He did.
But he goes to Wisconsin.
Yeah. I think it's timing too. It's timing too. Like if you're a coach, like you turned it down like 4 years. Was it 3 years ago?
Yeah.
You look at 3 years ago. You're looking at Michigan State. Michigan State had done that.
Yeah. And it was a last minute thing, if you remember. Yeah, that was when what's his name quit, D'Antoni. D'Antonio.
That's so funny. Guys, we'll take a break. Come right back when we do more college football. Interesting take as well. Coming up, but first, a message from SMA.
The sports marketing agency helps spread awareness about mental health as well as substance abuse, and their podcast is the S word. And the S stands for stigma because they want to destigmatize mental health as well as substance abuse. Check their podcast out. It is amazing. And also, check out thesportsma.com. If you or anyone you know might be suffering from some issues and not even know necessarily what it is on the mental health side of things, this gives you the information. This gives you the conversations of guys like Lomas Brown, of guys like myself and Devin Gardner, so you can kind of see and pick from it and learn about it. Go to thesportsma.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Hey, gang, it's Cyber Monday. It's here, and save 10% right now on the entire store when you use WSN Cyber at checkout. That's on woodwardsports.com, of course. We have all your sports covered and Detroit Sports Christmas sweaters. Take advantage of our Cyber Monday deal, 10% off. Just use the code WSN Cyber.
You know, guys, we were just talking about, two really good coaches coming to the Big Ten, and Luke Fickell to Wisconsin and Matt Rhule to Nebraska. This year's Big Ten was as embarrassing as I think you will see for an entire conference, namely the Big Ten, and perhaps when USC and UCLA get here, that'll be.
What do we got? One more year?
Yeah, one more year. Then they come in 2023, and then conversely, the SEC is going to get Oklahoma and Texas.
Sure.
So they're going to improve themselves. Where would you put the Big Ten SEC now? Because obviously, with name recognition, Alabama is going to be up there. Even though I think this is not. I think Alabama is very similar to Ohio State this year. They have the great name, but they don't have the great team or teams that they have had in the past. They're not dominant. Georgia's up there, but I still think the SEC is better, especially with Tennessee coming on. I mean, Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, and Alabama, if you look at those four teams.
Yeah.
But if you look at the Big Ten, man, just based on numbers, I mean, Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State, who I don't think that much of, Penn State still is a top 10 team in this country.
Yeah, beat Auburn a couple of times, so there's that SEC.
You need that fourth team, is what I'm saying, from the Big Ten.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you right now. Michigan. I want to say the Big Ten was ahead of the SEC in my eyes 4 years ago. Now, you're talking 4 years ago when Penn State was arguably trying to beat Ohio State, and then Michigan was trying to fight with Michigan State, and then Wisconsin was going almost undefeated in Iowa and Minnesota. But then I think slowly but surely the SEC took over. Josh Heupel was a damn good coach. Josh Heupel was going to do some great things down there in Tennessee. You now have Brian Kelly at LSU. Kirby Smart's in control of the pulse of the SEC, and then there's always St. Nick. So they're ahead right now. But when you get UCLA, when you get USC and kind of see what's going on, I still don't think they'll be able to stay with the SEC, because I think there are too many wild cards in the SEC, especially with the NIL, because of the Ole Misses and because of the Arkansas and the Mississippi States, and and Kentucky's been ranked.
Texas A&M will bounce back.
No, I know they'll get it. They'll figure it out. I mean, you can't just dump a bunch of money on people and bring people in. You got to find some chemistry and some nucleus. So they will have that. I mean, Jimbo Fisher is, after all, a national championship head coach. But I just think guys are going to those schools down there. It's warmer, and they're giving up more money. They're coming up here to, Purdue and Northwestern and schools like that.
When Alabama does, when Nick Saban finally, when he walks away from Alabama, what do you think will happen to that school? Do you think they're still going to continue what they've been doing, this mastery of the past 10, 15 years? Do you think that'll still happen? Because they've been the kings. Yeah, they were dethroned last year, but really, they got dethroned 1 year. This year, they're not having a great year either. Well, are they done, you think, going forward? Or do you think they still got mileage ahead?
I don't think they're done. I think Nick Saban's done such a great job of setting up a structure. Like, he's set up a foundation and to keep it moving, an identity. Like, I think they still will be a really, really, really good team, but I don't know if they're winning any more national championships.
I mean, you look at what they did this year, and everybody's saying, "Oh, Alabama's down. Alabama's down." Alabama finished 10-2, and both their losses came on the road against top 10 teams on the final play of the game.
Yeah, but they also had 2 wins that also could have been 2 losses. Like when you watch Alabama this year, you just watch them struggle at. I put it to you this way, Ryan Ermanni. Typically, when you see Alabama, like every position is going to be locked and loaded. When you see them, every position is going to be. They're going to be better than the other teams players at that position. Every game they play in, whether it's the offensive line is going to be better than, let's say, Ole Miss's offensive line. When they play wide receivers, their wide receivers will be better than Ole Miss's wide receiver. Their quarterback might be equal to Ole Miss's quarterback. It's always maybe the one tie. Now when you play against teams, and now you watch Alabama, secondary is average. Like outside of Will Anderson Jr., nobody else on that D-line can get to the quarterback. You look at the offensive line, they're getting knocked back, Ryan.
Yeah.
Like, this is 2 years in a row where Alabama offensive line is getting knocked backwards, and Bryce Young is having to make guys miss at the beginning of the snap.
Totally agree. I totally agree with you. One team I wanted to point out in the Big Ten too is Michigan State. And I do think it's worth pointing out that 4 of their 7 losses, and I don't know if this makes Michigan State people feel any better or not.
Right.
But 4 of their 7 losses were to teams that finished in the top 10 of this country. Do you take any solace in that if you're a Spartan fan, that again, 4 of the 7 came against teams that finished in the top 10?
Well, I think you have to, because one, you're Michigan State, so you're looking for anything to grasp onto. I think also you got to look at last year. You were 11-3. So you look at it, you're like, hey man, last year we were 11-3. This year, in the beginning of the season, you had 3 major injuries on the defensive side. You had 3 major injuries on the defensive line, on the secondary, and then Xavier Henderson, who's arguably your best defensive player. All three levels, you lost those guys. So I'm being honest. That plays a major factor when you're going into games and you're missing guys like that, especially guys that have the ability to be All-American. So I definitely give them that. And then you look at the fact that 4 of those those 4 losses were against guys that are in the top 10. That's cause to say, okay, well, maybe we could take a step back and kind of reassess and let Mel do his thing, because he did go 11-3 last year. So maybe you can look at it that way. But at the same time, man, it was an ugly season altogether. When you start adding everything into how they lost games, how they looked. We talked about how bad they looked against Akron and was it Central Michigan? No, Western Michigan. We pointed out how, hey,
they fired their coach today.
We're like, they could have, the Western game, like, they didn't look good. And then he looked at the Akron game, like, that Akron quarterback was having his way until he got to the red zone. They would throw interceptions. Like, that didn't look good. And then the incident at Michigan State, that didn't look good. So, at University of Michigan in the tunnel. So, it was an ugly season altogether, man.
I'll say this. When D'Antonio came to town and pride comes before the fall and all of that, and his grouchiness, and kind of took over the state, and the kids obviously became a Michigan State. I mean, you saw so many young kids come up and they're wearing green and white, and they took it away from Michigan. They really did. And now you're starting to see they're going to take it a little bit back. Michigan all of a sudden is back on the front page again. And it took a long time to do that. I just want to know, if Mel Tucker doesn't show next year, doesn't take the next step next year, then I really don't know. I think the jury's out.
Sign the extension. Give him the extension, right? But what? All jokes aside, you are making a very interesting point, Tom Mazawey, because if you look at, sure, they've had a good season here and there. They had a good season last year, won 11 games. They had a good season in 2017, but the last real program success where you're just competing for championships every year.
11-13
every year. Well, you had 2010, 2011, and so about 2010 to 2015, really. Okay?
15 is when they beat Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah. But 2013, 2014, 2015, those were the 3 years of just solid program success. Michigan was down.
Yep.
Yeah. These are. I mean, Jim Harbaugh just came in 2015. Harbaugh came 15. In 2015. Yeah. Michigan, when Michigan State built their program, Michigan suffered its worst transformation in 50 years. And I'm not saying that Michigan State can't rebuild their program and to become a perennial championship contender year in and year out. What I'm saying is this is going to be a unique time if they do that, because Michigan is here. not only in the Big Ten, but in the national conversation, national championship type team, not just Big Ten team.
They took the state back.
They took the state back, and they're taking the country, too.
Yeah, see, that's where I was going. You were talking about the kids growing in Michigan State. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Like, I met a lot of these kids growing. I'm like, how the hell? And then you're like, oh, you know what? I get it. Say, I get
Front
it.
runners.
But now it's different because they're not taking the state back, man. They're taking the country. Like, Michigan's taking the country. Michigan's never been more popular.
Just look at the record. Look at the views.
Michigan's
look at
never been more
the
popular.
ratings.
Michigan's never been more popular. Michigan State, like you said, they built it. Michigan was down. Hell, Penn State was on probation for the whole Sandusky deal. Ohio State was on probation for Jim Tressel and the Trevor, what's his name, Terrell Price?
Yeah, Terrell Pryor.
Terrell Pryor for that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's going to be even tougher to come back with that foundation because now you add USC, now you add UCLA, now Michigan is this good. Now you got Matt Rhule, and now you have Luke Fickell. Like, now they're players in the Big Ten. So it's going to be a tough time, man. They're going to know a lot about Michigan State and Mel Tucker in the years to come.
I know Big Ten Network and Kevin Warren, the commissioner, and all of that.
Oh, they're going crazy.
They're going to be real happy that Michigan is now going to be the brand. At least they're the brand right now for the last 2 years, and only getting stronger.
Without question. Guys, we're going to go heavy Lions tomorrow because we have not had a chance to comment. And I know everybody's Thanksgivings maybe we're busy, but we'll go heavy Lions, heavy NFL tomorrow. Sticking with college football. Big game tonight at LCA.
Yes, sir.
We'll share with you as well. But first, a message from the Foaling Warehouse.
In Hamtramck, Michigan, it is Foaling football and bowling. 2 awesome games put together. 2 ways to play it. Chris Hutt is the inventor of that game. Make sure you tell him Woodward Sport and Maz sent you down there. $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation for 10 or 12 of your friends. Run you $120, but you get it for 2 hours. Any drink you want. They have multiple full bars and a great beer menu. Over 100 beers to offer at the Foaling Warehouse and the $2 mystery beer machine. Bring your own food in. Even have it delivered. Have a great time. Get your foal on at foalingwarehouse.com.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff a Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward and Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries. What will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Planet Fitness is the official studio sponsor of Woodward Sports. Also home of the Judgment-Free Zone, where you can work out for just $10 a month.
Only $10?
Or upgrade to the Black Card for unlimited guest privileges, hydro massage, and more. Join the club today or go to planetfitness.com.
We do have some coaching news.
We do?
In the SEC this time.
What do we got?
So this from Mr. Ross Dellinger.
We're talking Lane Kiffin?
Lane Kiffin is not going to be the next head coach at Auburn. Instead, Hugh Freeze returning the SEC. He will be finalizing a deal with Auburn. He's the head coach at Liberty right now. Coached Ole Miss in 2017 amid the NCAA and personal
Malik
scandal.
Willis, homeboy.
12 years as a college head coach, had one losing season. So Hugh Freeze going to Auburn.
You know what? Good for Lane Kiffin. I was hoping that he stayed at Ole Miss when everybody broke the story, because Ole Miss is a good place. Like, it's a tradition. It's a great tradition. Great team. They may not win a national championship, but Ole Miss is in it every year. And with the tide kind of changing, no pun intended, with the tide changing down there in SEC, you know what? Who's to say Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin can't get in? Because especially now, what happens? Your famous 12-team playoff happens.
That's right.
So you don't have to be at an Alabama. You don't have to be at a Georgia. You can be at a lot of different schools.
And Deion Sanders has confirmed that Colorado has offered him the job. He has not declined it or accepted it yet, other than just to say that he has a standing offer from Colorado.
I didn't even know they played football anymore.
Of all the places where I don't want to see Deion Sanders, that's one of them.
I have never liked Colorado.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's that.
It's got to be the Westbrook.
I was just about to say.
You don't like Ralphie the Buffalo?
No, hell no. I've never liked Colorado. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the Cordell to Westbrook. In '94, I was there and cried like the baby. But maybe it's that. Something about Colorado. Like Rashawn Salam, rest in peace. I watched him in the highs when I was like, he was all right. Bill McCarthy, I was like, he was all right. Like, it's nothing about Colorado has ever done it for me in terms of the team.
Right.
Now, I have gone to a game there, and, hey, it's a special experience. It's a special experience.
Speaking of games, a couple of local ones. Local teams in action tonight, Maz.
Yeah, we got the Red Wings hosting Toronto. The Maple Leafs are in town. It's going to be a great game tonight.
Matthews?
Red Wings wearing their retro. They call them the reverse retro unis. Look
you
at these
like
things.
These?
Well, that's the first time I'm seeing them.
I
Really,
don't like the black.
Oh,
I get it, but this is just something out there. NHL does a nice job with their marketing and all, and just another step. There's a UWM sticker right on there, and we'll see how it goes tonight. Toronto, and I'm wondering how the crowd's going to be tonight, because when the Pistons play the Raptors, they take over the building.
Raptors fans.
The Raptors fans take over the building. I'm really looking forward to this game. I'm going to go down there, go down to Little Caesars and check this one out. This is an original 6. Come on, man! You got to get down there. If you can get down to the game, you got to be down there tonight.
That jersey, I don't know where I'm at with it in terms as a jersey for the hockey team, the Red Wings. I gotta wait to see it on the ice, and then I can make my assessment. But just looking at that, I would buy one of those.
Heck yeah!
Like it looks, that's dope. Like, in
terms
of to wear,
probably $300.
I gotta get used.
Yeah, that jersey's $300, by the way.
Yeah, that's all good.
I gotta get used to the black. I mean, the Red Wings colors are red and white. You know what I mean? It's like when you see a team playing in these jerseys.
It's like Michigan State wearing that neon yellow. Like what the y'all ain't Oregon.
You have no idea who the team is that you're watching.
Yeah.
Right? Because the colors
that
are.
Black, that jersey was bad though.
Should be a fun game tonight. Is DJ Tom going to be down there?
Yeah. As soon as you said that, I forgot that they played the Leafs today. He's from Toronto.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I may hit him up. We watched the game last night, so I
tell him to hit me up if he's down there.
For sure.
Come and meet him. And tomorrow the
Pistons
Knickerbockers
host
in
the
town.
Knicks. Yeah.
Knicks in town for the
Knicks
Pistons
tomorrow. What was it? Pistons. Bad team. Oof.
Injuries, man.
I know, injuries.
And they're young, they're injuries, and then you don't know about Dwayne Casey. Like,
Pistons are playing better. They hung in there with Cleveland. They won a couple games on the road against a couple of good teams.
Yeah, good.
They're getting better.
We got 5 wins. That's good. Hey, last year they didn't have 5 wins until
backhanded.
Till January.
That was backhanded.
Yeah. No, it's good. I'm a huge Pistons fan. I just want to hurry up, get the lottery next year, and then go.
I'm with you.
Right, get that Wambe guy or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
you know what
you need flannel Sam.
Wambe.
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 What's his name?
Wembenyana.
Wembenyana. Yeah, same thing. Brad, get us out of here, buddy.
That's a hell of a way to end the show, man. Hell of a start to the week. We appreciate you guys for listening, tuning in, watching us, however you watch us, whether it's Fox2.com, WoodwardSportsNetwork.com, however you watch us, we appreciate you. It's going to be a fun week. We'll get into the Lions and what almost was against the Buffalo Bills on Thanksgiving this past Thursday, but fun week coming up. Michigan beat Ohio State just like Ryan Ermanni and I said they would. 12-0. How you like that? How you like that? For my man JB, for my man Fletch, for my man Uncle Maz on the couch, my brother from another mother, Ermanni, we are Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, and go blue.
Go blue.
Hail.
Like the rest of the team was. I mean, it was a team that was very focused and determined. You could really see it in him. Get in here, Mikey. Man, look at it's all these guys. It's really. Hey, there's another one. I love you too.